Am I the asshole for not wanting to switch rooms with a new disabled roommate? So, I live in your standard crap student house with a terrible layout. It's a 5-bedroom house with my 3 roommates upstairs and 2 bedrooms downstairs, one being fairly big and one about half the size. The big one is mine. It's a reconverted living room and it's right at the front of the house, so I get first dibs on being broken into, I guess. And it's loud as hell because it's next to the road. When my roommates and I moved in, they didn't want to live on the bottom floor, and I wasn't bothered, so it worked out. The 5th little bedroom has been empty thus far. It's in our contract as a storage room, but our landlord offered us a reduced rent if we were to have an extra tenant. Housing in our area is very scarce. Housing in our area is very scarce. And we, being broke students, were like, sure, whatever. So someone came and looked at the house, the room, and is going to be signing for it. We didn't meet them, but they're planning to move in soonish. Problem is, the landlord contacted us today to ask if any of us would be okay to switch rooms because the new person is disabled and can't have such a small room. We haven't been given any other details apart from physically disabled, so my roommates upstairs all went, well, they might not be able to get up the stairs, so you should be the one to move rooms. The issue is, I really don't want to move rooms. The spare room is crap, which is why it was deemed the spare room. I love my room. I've signed onto this house for another year, and I signed based on my nice room and being in my nice room. I have a big reptile tank, a dressing table and shit. I've done my best to make a terrible student room into a place that I actually like spending time in, and I'm not prepared to give it up. We haven't got back to the landlord with a decision yet, but my roommates are saying that if it were them that needed to give up their room, of course they would. Okay, but that's very easy to say, isn't it? And that I'm being an ass for not doing it.
An ass.
An ass. I really feel for this new person, especially if they're physically disabled and need the extra space, and especially since housing is so difficult right now, but I don't want to lose my nice room. Am I the asshole? Should I just suck it up for the next year and switch rooms?
This is hard.
Right?
I don't know.
I don't want to say it.
Yeah. Wait, what were you going to say?
Okay, guys, don't hate me. Keep an open mind. Educate me if you think I need to be educated. Politely, please. I don't think I would switch rooms.
Yeah. It's tough. Like, you don't have options, really. Because either you switch rooms, you're probably going to be miserable in the spare room, which, side note, reminds me of Harry Potter.
Yes.
The spare room.
Yeah.
So you do that. Or you stay in your room and refuse, and then you are, like, the asshole of the house. I feel like I need to know, like, is this really mean to say? I feel like I need to know the level of her disability. Because, is it absolutely impossible for her to have the spare room? Like, is she in a wheelchair?
Right.
Or, you know?
I think the thing, though, is the potential new roommate came to see the house, didn't they?
Oh.
Or wouldn't they know what they're signing up for? Like, yeah. I feel like the disabled person, they're not stupid either. Like, they know what they're signing up for. Mm-hmm. And if they toured a house and spoke to a landlord and a landlord explained to them the situation and said, there's 4 other people or 5, however many roommates are already living in this house. There's a very small room. The circumstances are that this isn't zoned as a bedroom. I'm offering them a deal. I'm offering you a deal. They're already living their lives. Right. If you want to accept those terms, you can. And if you don't want to, then this isn't the home for you.
That's true.
Like, that's true. They can make decisions too, based off of their own needs that they know the most about. Mm-hmm. So I feel like it isn't really right for the landlord to be like, you've been living in this house. I offered you this situation to rent out the spare room. And then after finding out that the potential new roommate has a disability, the landlord is now changing the terms that the roommates agreed to.
Yep, that's all very valid.
And I feel like they don't need to agree to the new terms. That doesn't make them an asshole. Also, I think it's really important to feel safe and comforted by your living situation. Yeah. And if OP loves his room, which it seems he does, I think he's in the right to remain there and not agree to new terms that he did not agree to. Mm-hmm.
That's true, because the landlord did a little switcheroo.
Yeah.
Like, I understand housing is scarce. Now I'm second guessing.
Scarce, because I said scarce.
I understand that, but that's not, like, your problem, you know?
I kind of feel like that too. Is that horrible?
I know. Now I feel bad. I
feel bad too because I know that a lot of disabled people, they live their whole lives having to work harder than everyone else for the same level of equality or
comfort.
Comfort or level of living.
Yeah.
Equality of living. But at the same time, these people are already living their life. It's not like they're going out of their way to make something harder for somebody else, or it's not like this person came to them and was like, I don't know.
I get what you're trying to say.
I feel like, I don't know.
They're not going out of their way to like shun this person or like make it hard for them.
Right.
This landlord, I think it's on the landlord a little bit.
I kind of think it's on the landlord. Yeah.
Like it's just not your circus, not your monkeys.
I kind of feel like...
I keep saying that recently.
I know, I did.
Yeah.
I've never heard that phrase before, really. Well...
Where did I hear it from?
I don't know.
It might have been another podcast, to be honest.
There was a phrase that an OP used. It was called, I gave her a wide berth. And I literally looked it up and I was like, what the hell does that mean? Because I looked up the definition of birth.
Yeah.
And then so many people commented and they were like, this is a very commonly used phrase and you should have Googled the whole phrase. And I was like, you know what? You're right. I was wrong.
I was laughing at that.
I commented back to everyone on YouTube and they were like, yeah, you just learned this word. Like, why are you already saying that someone else is wrong? And I was like, that's valid. I was like, you are right. And I was not. Anyway,
period.
I do feel like in this case, though, it is on the landlord. Mm-hmm. And the person that is the potential roommate, they know their own needs. Like, they know what's up.
Yeah.
And so if the landlord presented them this spare room and said, this is the room you would be in, take it or leave it, the disabled person can make that decision for themselves.
Yeah, totally.
Like, they know what their life is. So let's give them some credit as well.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's not just on everyone else to change. Like, who knows? Maybe these roommates would change their living dynamic and then the disabled person would be like, you guys didn't have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
If it would be fine.
Yeah.
That's up to them to decide.
That's up to them. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, just because housing is scarce in this area doesn't mean it's on you to change your living situation.
Right.
I don't know.
I agree. Because what you said is important. Like, you spend so much time in your living quarters.
Yeah.
And he sounds like he made it his little nook, his little safe space.
Yeah.
Why should he have to redo it all again?
Exactly. And just like this new potential roommate is agreeing to sign a yearly lease based on the terms and the room that they saw, OP agreed to sign a lease based off the terms and the room that they saw.
Yeah. Wow.
So they should all be entitled to the terms that they signed a legally binding contract, aka a lease, to accept.
And I don't love the other two roommates taking the side of the landlord and being like, yeah, if that were us, we would switch. And it's like, well, would you?
Yeah, it is real easy to say.
Yeah, when you're already in a room that you love.
Yeah.
So I don't love that.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
And also,
poor everyone.
Maybe they would switch. Like, maybe the roommates would switch rooms, but
they don't know that.
But I think even if they would, that still doesn't mean that OP has to.
Right.
Like, sure, if another roommate doesn't care that deeply about which room they have, that's great for them. Mm-hmm. OP is still allowed to care about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah. Not the asshole.
That was a tough one.
That was tough, right?
But we talked it. Yeah, I think we talked it through.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah.